started. You guys can catch up. We're watching The Chosen. Very good. Easy. We eat popcorn every week.
The David Show, December 17th, 3 p.m. You must come with a parent. Yeah.
So those sheets, the sign-up sheets are back there. They're due by October 16th, so 2 Sundays from now. After that, we're closing registration because we actually have to buy the tickets by then. So if you're going with us, you have to bring a parent. Like, yeah, you got to like, Mom, Dad, come on. So you have to bring a parent, but your littles, if you have little siblings, they're not allowed to come if they're not in youth group. That one is, your other one is allowed to, but the little one can't. Like, yeah, I get it. He's in middle school, settle down. Don't let him treat you like that. Anyway, so those sheets are in the back. You have to turn them in. There's no exceptions. I buy the ticket, and then they're sold out, and the other ones get sold by the company. So there you go. This one's mine because it's got a lot of detail up there. So on October 12th, in Greencastle, there's it's called Maple Run. They're opening up their farm. So Maple Farm is opening up their farm for a youth night. So it is free food, free corn maze, free all of that stuff. And so we're on that Wednesday night, we're not going to have crew. We're going to go over to this farm. If you need a ride there, we can provide it, but you need to see Miss Heather. Heather, I almost said Brant. You're not Heather Brant. Heather Sneary. You need to see Heather. She has seats. She's taking the church bus. If you do not let Heather know, we may not have a seat for you. So, or you can just meet us there and be picked up there. But it is all of the, you. She's driving a bus. You need to see her to reserve a seat. Once the seats are full, we're sorry, you have to meet us there. October 12th, you can buy pumpkins. We'll provide transportation if you need it. If not, just meet us over there. Like I said, they're opening up their whole farm, their corn maze, their pumpkin patch, things like that. So come enjoy that Wednesday night. It's a youth event, so there's other youth groups coming. There might be girls from other youth groups. Not that ours aren't beautiful enough as it is. I'm just saying. The pool is now bigger for one night only. So that's that. We'll be talking about it a little bit more, but we've got some sheets if you want to take it home to your family to say, hey, Mom, I want to go to this. So some of us are going as chaperone, but you can either drive there and be picked up there, or you can talk to Mrs. Heather and sign up for one of the seats on the bus. You can't go, I want a seat on the bus. We need to talk to your parent first so that we don't, like, everybody goes, I want a seat on the bus, and then nobody shows up with the seat on the bus, and we go, oh, what a waste of time. So you need to reserve it by your parent, not by you. Make sense? Yes? Okay, wow, that was really easy. All right, now you're in charge. I have a clicker. She can click the first slide. All right, this is in honor of Tanner, who loves the It's Corn song. If you have not seen the It's Corn song, you should definitely watch more TikTok. But if not, this is trivia about corn.
It's corn.
And 200 points to the winner, and I think I have a prize over there. You have to grab that. What did I put over there? I forget.
A sound reactive LED light strip.
Ooh, okay, there you go. So that goes to the winner and 200 points towards your small group to win it. So go ahead and push next.
How well do you know your corn?
This is Kyle said this game is very corny.
The blank is the inedible leaf on the corn cob. The case are the husk.
So you have to stand up and go to the side in which you think the correct answer is. That simple. So if you want to play, you stand up, you go to the side in which you believe the correct answer is. There is sound reactive LED lights available and a high five from both Abigail and Brady for the winner. They can do same time or separate. All right, here, I'll give you the clicker. You can be in charge. You bestowed the clicker. Don't screw it up.
Everyone ready? The husk. Nobody's out. Corn is a type of grass known as starch or cereal.
Ooh. It is a type of grass.
lot of people are on this side.
Hold on, nobody's going for the win? There are 0 win goers? No? You're going to go for the win? You're going to stay? Okay, so some people are like meandering back there. That's like, Shane's not playing, but he stays standing. I don't think he ever sits down. Hi.
Okay, we ready? Cereal.
I tried to help you people. It is technically considered a cereal.
3 people left.
I like when people like get mad that they lose, that they like throw little hissy fits.
An average ear of corn has how many kernels? 400 or 800?
You should. You could split, but you got competition over there. That one's yours too? No, but that one's not. So maybe you'll split it.
How do you split LED lights?
I don't know.
800.
All
2
right.
people left.
So we got high school girls going to win some points, or we got middle school girls going to win some points.
Corn cobs always have an blank number of rows, even or odd.
Always. Always. It's corn, people.
Ready?
That,
Even.
it is
They're
even.
both still in.
It is always even.
Blank corn is used to make corn flour and cornmeal. Flour or meal?
Are you guys staying there?
Just messing with their heads now.
Flour.
Kyle is totally set that this game is super corny.
Blank corn has less starch than most corn varieties. Feed or sweet?
Go with your gut. Has anybody heard the It's Corn song? Maybe we'll do that as a countdown next week.
Sweet. Both right?
And ruin your day.
Which country is the leading corn producer? China or USA?
Someone just said everything's made in China.
USA. Which state produces the most corn in the U.S.? Iowa or Kansas?
Nebraska Cornhuskers aren't up there, I guess. They only husk it. They don't make it.
We have a winner.
Where there's going to be a
Shit.
winner. All right, I like it.
Ready?
Wait. You know, if you tie, only the student always wins, right? So you got to beat her.
Iowa.
Iowa makes the most corn.
The largest amount of corn grown in the U.S. is
Arkansas.
for livestock or biofuel.
Gasolina. She's going to stay. She's going for the win.
3, 2, 1.
It is
Biofuel.
biofuel. So high school girls 9 and 10, congratulations. You have points. And
Get your prize.
do you want your prize, or are you going to give it to her? Oh, look at how nice
get the
she
prize.
is. She just wants the cup. She's like, I'm going to hoist that trophy, baby. All right, give them the last couple. Click through them. Praise and worship teams start heading
Europeans
up there.
were first introduced to corn in the 12th or 15th century.
It
15th.
was 15th. Tiebreaker.
Tiebreaker.
How many gallons does it take to grow 1 pound of corn?
How many gallons of water is that? How many gallons of water is that?
91.
91 gallons of water.
Hey, Dwight, were you doing key tag?
Yeah, key tag bingo. Go do it real quick. I always forget that because we haven't done that in so long. All right, if you don't have a key tag, Rich will get you one today. You simply have to ask. For those of you that do have a key tag, last 2 numbers are 34.
34.
Anybody got 34? Keep drawing until you get a winner. 42. Nothing? $97. Wait, I got one. Is it 97? Double check them that it's not 79. Wait, are you 6th grade boys or 7th, 8th grade boys? You're 6. 6 boys. Make sure you grab a box of candy from the corner after you won. Yes. Okay, there you go.
Nice. All right, guys, let's go ahead and stand up. Whew, this is hot. That made the stage rumble. Ooh, ooh, I can see the clouds rolling. I can feel the winds, they try to shake me. I will not be moved. My feet are on the rock. I can feel the waters rise. I can hear the howling lies that haunt me. Fear won't own me now. My feet are on the rock. When I feel my hope about to break, I will cling to your unchanging grace. If the waters come and the earth gives way, I'll be dancing in the rain. My feet are on the rock. Oh, oh, I can see the morning light. I can feel the joy on the horizon. Here my faith is found. I stand on solid ground. And on Christ's solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. So stomp your feet and clap your hands. Our feet are on the rock. On Christ's solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. So stomp your feet and clap your hands. Our feet are on the rock. On Christ's solid rock I stand. All other ground is sinking sand. So stomp your feet and clap your hands. Our feet are on the rock. And I feel my hope about to break. I will cling to your unchanging grace. If the waters come and the earth give way, I'll be dancing in the rain. My feet are on the rock. Whoa, whoa, oh. My feet are on the rock. Whoa, whoa, whoa. My feet are didn't do anything to deserve your love and your grace. But God, you love us anyways. We just thank you so much for who you are and how you work in our lives every day. Just be with Dwight as he brings your word here this morning, and just let us be open to what you have to say through him. In your name, amen.
Let's go. Oh, did they kick you out of the row? I'm sorry. What a bunch of jerks back there. Good morning. Oh, I'm going to get my stand today because I got a couple things to say. I got notes. I don't usually go off of notes, but today I got notes. What did I do? All right. Yeah, I got some notes. It's all right. So, first and foremost, I need to ask a question. Homecoming love is in the air. Who's going to homecoming? Anybody do a HOCO Pro yet? Did you guys, do you already have homecoming last night? Some of you guys had it last night. I knew some people were doing it. I did a wedding yesterday, and there was like homecoming people like out in the rain. It was really weird. So anybody who's going? Anybody going to homecoming? Like want to admit that you got a date to homecoming? Okay. I like middle school boys are like, like, all right, so we know exactly where their mature level is, down here. You got all right, he's got a date. You don't have a date yet? Hey, I got a whole row of single guys over there. All right, so just to make you even more comfortable for the next 2 weeks, we're going to talk about how to date like an idiot. No, I'm not going to do when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much. We're not going that deep. I'm not going to tell you any, like, horror stories of poor dating. I just want to have a little bit of fun because over the next couple weeks, you guys are going to go to homecoming. Some of you guys are dating. Some of you guys, we're the ones that aren't allowed to date until you're 30. Like, your parents are, like, pretty strict with that. Yeah, all right, so you got some of those people. Like, and, like, dad's going to, like, check everybody out and, like, you know, sit on the front porch with the shotgun. Like, okay. All right, I want to talk about the fun of dating because God has something to say about it. And some of you guys are like, oh gosh, the worst week to come to church. Like, I'm not going to get into the weird and stuff like that, but it is important to understand the character of you before you start dating. But let's do it from the other perspective because ultimately when I tell teenagers that they should do something, and your parents probably do the same thing with this, right? Your parents probably do the same thing. They tell you to do something and you do the complete absolutely. So my hope is we're going to have you date like idiots because when I say it, maybe you guys will do the complete. And they're like, no, we're not. Dwight just told us his plan. All right, well, let's go through it. So I want to count down the top 10 ways to date like an idiot. And so, like, get your notes out. A couple of you guys need to take notes. Some of you guys are already here and you're perfectionists at this. Like, so I like how people are pointing to friends going, he's got this. He's an idiot. So, all right. So let's go through a couple of ways that you can date like an idiot. Yes? Okay, like I know, now everybody's talking like it's set. They're like, Dwight's got this down. He knows what he's talking about. He's married. He must know what he's talking about. I still haven't figured it out, so just let you know. I just tricked her into marrying me, and now she's stuck. I'm just kidding. So the top 10 ways, so we're going to go through the first 5 this week. We'll go through 5 next week. Make sense? I know the boys are so uncomfortable right now. They're talking. They're like, oh, my gosh, what is he doing? Don't give away our secrets. All right, so the first way you can date like an idiot is to date too young. What's the appropriate age you should be able to start dating in your mind? 13. I got 13. What else? 16. Whenever I want. Whenever I decide I'm ready to date. Did anybody... I'm going to ask you some questions. Did anybody have, and you don't have to like, you can just shake your head on this, like I don't need to know the name and the story. Did anybody have like the elementary crush where you were like dating? You were like dating? Like my daughter comes home and tells me who she's marrying like once a month. And I'm like, that'll change next week. All right, settle down. We don't need to know all. You can share details. If we get to small group, then you guys can share details and have fun with this. All right, so focus. So my daughter tells me she is ready to, like, get married. And I'm like, you don't even know. Okay, so to date like an idiot, and I'm willing to bet if I ask, especially like I see Brady's out there, you're a little older, you're just outside of high school, some of my older small group volunteers, when right now, I'm going to ask you, Brady, we're going to all look at Brady. Sorry, he didn't know I was going to put him on the spot. Brady, in 7th grade, do you really feel now that you're 21, you were ready to date? No. Why not? Do you want to give an answer? You don't have enough life experience. You still doesn't feel like he's ready. But when you were in 7th grade, do you think that you were ready to date? In your brain, you go, I'm ready to date girls. Yes. Okay, so it's so weird. So if you want to date like an idiot, you just assume you're always ready to date, okay? Like right now, most adults, if you ask them and you say, or even like senior hires, like I got a couple of senior hires there. When you were in middle school, I'm looking at my senior hires, I got a couple over here, but I see a whole row of them and a couple back there. When you were in 6th grade, were you really ready to date? Okay, so high schoolers are going, no. But for some reason, they're like, right now I'm not ready to date, but girls. And I even saw like some of the girls in the back were like, no. And a lot of times, and what we understand from the history of dating, because there's people that do statistics. For example, let me find some of them. Oh, where did I lose them? It shows, studies show that about 14% of people will end up marrying someone they met in school. Only 14% of people will marry somebody they met in school. And it might sound pretty good because that's more than 10, which is good. 10%, you're like, ooh, so there's a chance. But other studies show that only 2%, so studies show that out of the couples who dated through grade 12 and are dating after graduation, only 2% of those people will wind up getting married. And then about 50% of them will end up in divorce. So let's know the statistics, because if you want to be an idiot, you can go, you know what? Love is just love, and I'm going to marry, and I know what I'm going to do, and I'm amazing, and I'm the best judge of my own character, and he's so amazing, she's so amazing, she's so beautiful. And we'll ignore the statistics. There are statistics you have to understand that most likely the people you date in definitely your 6th, 7th, and 8th grade years, so my middle schoolers, they're like, boys, or like, girls. You have close to a 0 chance of marrying that person. So, it's a big fat goose egg. So it's actually smaller than 1%. It's like microcosm of that. So it's very small. And then of those of you that date in high school and start dating in high school and graduate, only 2% of those relationships will end in marriage. And of all of those, 50% of them will end in divorce. So, I know, dating young is not always the best thing, and we'll talk about this. But, for those Christian people, those weirdos that like, follow after God and all that stuff, they understand as they open up the Bible, figure out who you are first, the character you have, the spiritual gifts that you have, and don't change that for anybody. But when you're young, you're figuring that out, which means you're going to change, which people who use the phrase, you're not the person that I met, you've changed. Well, yeah, because you guys haven't figured out who you are. And so, those silly Christians find out who they are in Christ first before they even create. It's okay to have friends, and friends of the opposite sex too, I would tell you. But if you pay attention to the statistics, the odds are you won't stay together because you haven't fully formed in here. Your brain isn't ready to handle you, let alone somebody else. Your body is going to do crazy things. We won't get into too much of that. I promised you I wouldn't get into the weird stuff. So, the second way you can be an idiot when you are dating, or the number 9 reason, would be believe someone is the only one. Have you heard this? Has anybody, like one of your friends, said, he's it. I love him. He's the only one. God made him for me. You guys heard like people say that? You've said that? Anybody want to admit that? All right, I got some middle school boys going, oh, they still have cooties. You'll get there, trust me. This sermon might not be for you right now, but just store it in the back of your mind for a little bit. All right? They're the only one for me. Well, I want to give you something to think about. Could you imagine if God designed one person for you, and the only time you were going to meet that one person was a 15-second window, and you were too big of an idiot to say hi? Could you, I know, there would be a lot of single people out there for the rest of the world of like ever if you had one window to talk to that one person for that one 15-second thing, and if you missed it, you'll never find another person in the world that will love you. I know, every Christmas movie out there. At Hallmark, they made a whole channel based on that. Like, I can't believe I'm in this farm town. I'm going to marry the rich guy. Never marries the rich guy. It's always the dirty farmer. But he ends up being a millionaire in the end. Like, it's so weird. You guys, you're laughing because you know the movies I'm talking about. Like, every girl's like, yep, every Christmas, I'm watching it tonight because it's fall. And guys, guess what? You better learn how to watch those movies or at least zone out. All right, so believe somebody's the only one, because you know what, those idiot Christians, those moronic Christians that believe God is in charge, they actually believe, and the Bible talks about how God's timing is perfect. God will put you in the places you need to be. God will give you the courage you need to have. God will walk you through those times. God's way is perfect, but there are some people out there that will be like, oh, like if I miss that window, like I'll just be alone for the rest of my... How many of you guys have friends that are like, I'm just going to be single forever. Nobody's going to love me. The whole back row of girls are like, it's me. I like how the boys are pointing at each other, too, and they're like, stop it, I'll break your finger. It's boys and girls are different. We are different in how we love and how we express love. Guys don't want to admit it right now, but a lot of them are like trying to figure out who they are because there's an expectation in this world on guys. Girls, you have different expectations, the worldly expectations. And so here's the tough one. I'm going to get into the number 8, and it's going to make some of you guys blush a little bit, but I promise I won't get into the details. We're not having the birds and bees conversation. You want to know about that? Talk to your mom and dad tonight, okay? Not my job to tell you about the birds and bees. We're not going to do that. But here's the deal. If you want to be an idiot in a relationship, have no physical boundaries. Woo, I know. You're like, yes, preach on, preacher. Like, have no physical boundaries. Why? Because you guys are fully in control of all the hormones that are raging through your body right now. Yes? See, the crazy thing is you guys know the answer. You go, no, but for some reason, we assume as human beings that we can control the things that are happening in our lives. We can control the fact that our bodies are like, at your age, fighting against you. And some of you guys know exactly what you mean. You're like, I don't know why I'm crying at a puppy. Like all the girls are laughing. Guys are like, that was me too. I don't know why it is. But so it's one of the reasons as a youth pastor why I don't let you guys sit in the back of the van 4 hours on a way to a trip together. Why? Because you guys are idiots. And it's not because I don't love you, but I want to tell you the real about the fact that, like, you guys, your brain isn't fully developed. And that's like science, not like Dwight trying to be rude to you. I'm not mean. I don't want to do that. I understand that God created unique, different, and you're going to be in a season of life in which you should date, in which you should get to know somebody of the opposite sex, to where you should have relationships and eventually, yes, get married and have babies. But when you are in the 6th to 12th grade year, that's not the time. And so why would we put you, or why should you put yourself, stupid people put themselves in positions they know they're going to fail. I'm not going to fail. I love her too much. Yeah, right. See? Answer's already there. So, hold on. I have no physical boundaries. I had something I want to say on this. All right. Yeah. Also, remember that, like, having no physical boundaries, if we put boundaries in, those crazy Christians put boundaries, and parents do this as well. They're the worst. They're the worst at this. Because boundaries take away all the fun, right? Absolutely. Boundaries take over, not just dating relationships, just in life. The rules stink, right? They're the worst. Because I don't know if you've thought this or you guys have been in relationships where all of a sudden, like, you hear phrases like this. Maybe you talk to your girlfriends. Maybe this is you, guys, definitely in locker room talk and stuff like that, where you say, we just can't keep our hands off of each other. Or, I just love kissing him. I mean, who cares about conversation? I know I'm ruining like all of your day, but we're having fun because every one of you is squirming a little bit like, oh my gosh, I'm sweating here. What is happening? All right. So there was this scientist, this guy that did research. So I want you to focus. So if your relationship, you get into it and you have those things, you're like, I'm so in love, like I can't stop like holding her hand, and I can't like, you've seen those people at school where it's like there is no definitive difference between where he ends and she begins. You know what I'm talking about, those people? There's zero room for the Holy Spirit. And so there's a scientist that said, here, let me do a litmus test. If you don't know what a litmus test is, you do this test and you find out stuff about things. So here's this test he did. He said, hey, listen, if you're in this situation that you really love someone, you really feel like you love someone, and I bet you if you did this, if you're in a dating relationship, or if you really want to know if you're ready to be in a dating relationship past, like, your dad said it's okay finally, and he's still polishing his shotgun, like, I get that. If you guys want to know, if you're ready, he did this litmus test. Now, this is a worldly test. This isn't the God part yet. So here's the test. He literally said, hey, take 1 week, meet up on a regular basis. Just, whatever you would normally do. Go over, hang out at the house, maybe at school, all that stuff. But you're not allowed to touch each other. You physically have to sit in their presence. You physically have to do homework together. You physically have to do all that. You're not allowed to touch. No holding hands, no kissing, no like hug goodbye, nothing. And see how well your relationship goes during that week. If by the end of the week you go, I have no idea why I went over to her house. I have no reason why I sat down with her in study hall. We have nothing in common other than the fact that I love holding her hand. He says, then you're definitely not ready to date that person, because ultimately those Christians say, I want to make sure I don't miss anything in my notes because there's so many good things like that. After all, what more do you really need in a physical relationship? Nobody ever needs like good conversation. Nobody ever needs somebody to listen to in the good and the bad time. Nobody needs somebody to be there no matter what. Like, that's just stupid in a relationship. Like, idiots will date opposite of like actually wanting to be in the presence of somebody and learning about their interests and learning about the things that they enjoy. And the crazy part about it is the old people in the back, like some of them got married, and like you never see them like in each other's lap in public. It's so weird. Like, they're morons for not wanting to be like all over each other all the time, right? Like, you guys got it figured out, right? Like, kissing and smooching and holding each other's hand. Like, that's the way it should be, right? No. And so those silly Christians, what they do is they learn about that other person and their spiritual gifts and their interests. They learn and serve together and have relationships and stuff like that. But you know what? They're the idiot ones because they don't smooch that often. I mean, nobody sees them actually like kissing in public and stuff, so they're lame. I know. Dating like an idiot. All right, so here's another one that if you want to date like an idiot, or if you want to date wisely according to teenagers, it's the same thing. Believe you can change someone if you keep dating them. Has anybody like started dating somebody and be like, you know what? They're not a Christian yet, but I promise you after I've hung out with them long enough that I will create a Jesus moment in their lives and they will fall in love with him. I like how the guys are laughing. You're going, that's not how it happens normally. That's not how it happens normally. I have some people in the back going, yeah. That's not how it happens normally unless they lock you in a relationship and force you to do it. No, I'm just kidding. Here's advice for you. Whatever you do, don't end that relationship. You know what? If you guys don't agree spiritually on things, if you guys don't, you know what? Don't end there. Keep dating him or her, because maybe in a few years, they will gradually change who they are to fit who you want them to be. I mean, that makes sense, right? Okay? You don't need to date someone who's actually good for you and actually figured out who they are. You guys don't need that. Like, you just need smooching and hugging, right? No, you can date whoever's available and convenient. That should be a right you guys should have. Date whoever likes you back, right? That should be how dating works. If you put enough effort in, maybe someday they'll actually change to be who you want them to be. I like to call it, this is a phrase that I like to use. Why don't you just spend the rest of your teen years flirting to converting? You know what I'm saying? Like, you flirt to convert that person, right? You show them enough love and affection, and maybe, just maybe, Jesus will come into their lives, right? Oh, I know, you guys are having so much fun. I'm having so much fun. Or maybe, just maybe, keep in mind the best chance to make a difference and change in someone's life has nothing to do with what you can do, but what God can do through you. And you guys don't need to, like, give yourself away for them to love you and then know who Jesus is. That never works. But, you know, you guys can keep dating that way. So, here's the last one I want to share with you. And then you guys can get in small groups and talk about all these dating. You guys should date casually. You know, just, there's nothing wrong with having like 6 or 7 boyfriends at the same time. There's nothing wrong. I like how you guys are feeding back on this. Yeah, you know, a couple of them, you know, guys, definitely don't lock yourself down, right? Dating smart means just keeping the playing field open. You guys want to make sure that there's opportunity comes, you can put the other one aside and jump. Right? That's the smart thing to do in dating. You know, it's like money. You want to keep your assets liquid. You know, be able to jump into different things when you need to, right? And if this one isn't giving you enough love and affection, you can go to the next one. That sounds like fun, doesn't it? We should definitely do that. Unfortunately, some people do that. And that's how they date, and that's how they see dating, because you never know if you're going to miss the one. Remember that, like, the one? If you're locked down with somebody else and you're working on converting them to Jesus. Like, you just don't want to miss that one that you're going to marry. The fact is, let me tell you some statistics about this. Great statistics. You should know them before you get into even thinking about dating. Around 50% of marriages in the United States end in divorce. And that's definitely not related to humanity and their sinful nature. In reality, that's why we've created a culture that devalues dating as if you were test driving a car. And we've said that it really doesn't have much importance. It can never affect the way the world looks at dating, because that doesn't affect how you look at family, how you look at relationships with each other. No, certainly not. For people who want to date like this is just them being smart enough and wise enough to keep their options open. In fact, dating should boil down to a competition between you and your friends to see how many people you can date the fastest, right? Why not? On the other hand, those boring Christians who date smart see dating as an opportunity to prepare for marriage that goes the distance. They think the main purpose of dating is to find a person you'll spend the rest of your life with, learning those intricate details about another human being and walking alongside of them when their heart is broken or the world crushes down on them, being that support, that anchor, and also having one in return. I think you and I can agree the middle school and high school years are tough, yes? A lot of things you guys are figuring out, including yourself. As we get into the 1 through 5s of the things idiots do when they date, I think you start to understand when I say these things out loud, it sounds ridiculous, right? When Dwight says, like, you should keep your options open and definitely don't leave room for making mistakes with smooching and creating distance and the Holy Spirit. When I say it out loud, you go, Dwight, you're so stupid. Like, that's not how that works. But the unfortunateness of it is that's how a lot of people, and I'm willing to bet a lot of people around you, and maybe even you, I can say it out loud and it sounds stupid, but that's actually how they approach dating. They don't approach it about what is your character and who you are first. What is the person you're dating's character, and does it fit and align so that you don't have to do all the work to convert stuff? You actually choose somebody who has interests that go past like holding hands and smooching. In fact, here, we're going to go over Titus 2 and Titus 3 over the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to read you chapter 2. This is what your character should look like before you even consider becoming a dating. I'm going to tell you, Titus tells us, this is Paul talking to Titus. Titus, this is what a man looks like. Women, you're in there as well. You should have these characteristics before you decide you're going to even start dating. If you understand that dating is important, because eventually our hope is you do get married, you have kids, and you teach them about Christ, and you grow them in the faith along with yours. Because when you get married, when you have kids, all those things, you understand the Bible differently because you have more life experiences. So let's read what you should look like before you start making choices to date. And maybe you aren't ready to do it right now and you are in a relationship. Maybe this will change your mind. Maybe not. Maybe you're just ready to keep your options open, hoko, whatever. So let's read a little bit, and then I'm going to get you to small groups. As for you, Titus, promote this kind of living that reflects wholesome teaching. Teach the older men. So this is what we should strive to, men. This is what we're looking to be for the rest of our lives, and this is what a successful man should look like. Teach the older men to exercise self-control, to be trustworthy, of respect, and to live wisely. They must have sound faith and be filled with the love and patience. Similarly, teach older women. So ladies, this is what you should strive to, and we can have deeper conversations on roles and things like that later. But similarly, teach the older women to live in a way that honors God. They must not slander others, so them backstabbing, talking about everybody, girl, you got to get that under control. I lost my place. They must not slander others. They must not be heavy drinkers. And obviously, some of you guys aren't there yet, but maybe some of you know somebody that likes a lot of wine. Women, to live in a way that honors God. They must not slander others, be heavy drinkers. Instead, they should teach others what is good. Girls, you're the teachers. You're smart. You're good at making us understand things. You have compassion, and you have the ability to help us understand. That's what you guys were, your bodies do. Naturally, that's what you do. That's why you're moms. They must not slander. Oh, sorry, I did this. The older women must train the younger women to love their husbands and their children, to live wisely and be pure, work in their homes and do good, and to be submissive to their husbands. Ultimately, we say that line, and a lot of girls are like, I don't want to submit. Do you know the Bible talks about the fact that every one of us men that become husbands, and I'm talking to you men, when you become husbands, this is the deal. You will stand in front of the throne of God, and you will give an account for every decision you made for the family. It's not their fault. It's not their problem. They're supposed to be the wise ones that help you not be stupid, and my wife does a really good job of it, because if not by myself, I'd be an idiot. We have different roles. We were designed differently. The quarterback on the team isn't expected to be the center of the football team. We have different roles. And so, women, you're to be submissive to your husbands, because you're supposed to give wise counsel so we can give a good account for us as a family, us as our group, us as our team, us as what we created in a dating relationship and ultimately a family. Then they will not bring shame to the word of God. Girls, you have that responsibility to help keep us not be stupid. In the same way, encourage the young men to live wisely, and you yourself must be an example to them by doing good works of every kind, not by being idiots and doing all those. You got to learn to control yourselves. And then do good works of every kind. Let everything you do reflect the integrity and the seriousness of your teaching. Teach the truth so that your teaching can be criticized. Stand up for what you believe in a way, and the words that you speak and the things that you do, men, women, the things that you do so that when people go, hey, you're this, you can go, yeah, I was doing kind things. I was loving people. I was doing this. And people can't criticize us loving people. There's no way to go, you're such an idiot, when you go, I literally gave the shirt off my back to love this person. There is no criticism to that. Teach the truth so that your teaching can't be criticized. Then those who oppose us will be ashamed and have nothing bad to say about us. Slaves or workers must always obey their masters. When you guys start getting jobs, some of you guys have them and drive them. You got to always obey the people in authority and do your best to please them, especially so you guys learn how to drive. That includes like traffic laws and things like that. You gotta actually follow them. Slaves must obey their masters and do their best to please them. They must not talk back or steal. They must show them to be entirely trustworthy and good, and they will make teaching about God our Savior attractive. People want to be part of a community that honors and loves and obeys. People want to be friends with people who cares and concerns everything they do. They give and love. You want to know something crazy? Girls love it when dudes are actually not idiots, because it's less work for them to do later when they've got to like fix you and teach you not to be idiots. Like, they love that stuff. Girls, if they're idiots, just remember you have to do that much more work to help them honor God, or don't get close to them because that's not your job. And so, then they'll make the teaching about God, our Savior, attractive in every way. For the grace of God has been revealed, bringing salvation to all people, and we are instructed to turn from godless living and sinful pleasures. We should live in this evil world with wisdom, righteousness, and devotion to God, while we look forward with hope to the wonderful day when the glory of the great God, our Savior, Jesus Christ, will be revealed. And he gave us a life free from every kind of sin to cleanse us and make us his very own people, totally committed to doing the good deeds. You must teach these things and encourage the believers to do them. You have the authority to correct them if necessary, and don't let anyone disregard you. That is the character. I encourage you, go read Titus 2 this week over and over again. That is the character you should strive for before you should start dating. Are you ready to commit to that? What men and women should do in a relationship to build a healthy home, to build a healthy relationship, to go and do great things together. I love it in my family because that is what we are striving for weekly. Next week we'll do 3. Dating is fun when done in wisdom, when you understand who you are first and how God designed you. And then don't make exceptions for another person as God has them enter in and out of your life. Enjoy homecoming over the next couple of weeks, but honor God in everything you do as you go and do it. Make sense? Heavenly Father, thank you so much. I know dating is an uncomfortable topic to have with students, and it's fun and it's funny, but I hope that they realize that it is important to you. Their heart is important to you. And a broken heart is a broken heart to you as well. Help them to date wisely. Help them to choose a future spouse, not just somebody they can mess around with, not just somebody that makes them feel better, but ultimately help them to be wise and not be idiots in dating. We pray for next week as we discuss a little bit more in detail what it takes and what it costs to be a good husband, a good wife, a good boyfriend, a good girlfriend, and ultimately good as a student